Master Ryu, here I go.
Ayana, this is your last chance to pull back.
Welcome. I'm Force of Nature, and this is Top Tier Tips. In this session, we're going to be looking at none other than the legendary Super Ninja himself and the leader of the Hayabusa clan, Ryu Hayabusa. Hayabusa is one of the more interesting characters in Dead or Alive 6. Let's see, he's part ninja, part striker, part grappler, all rolled into one. Hayabusa is considered a grappler ninja primarily for this move. You see that? This is the Izuna drop. What I want you to do in your matches if you're planning to play Ryu is learn how to apply Izuna therapy to your opponents. Yes, a big part of Hayabusa's game plan is implementing Izuna drops into your playstyle like whenever you can in the form of throws. And also in the form of powerful defensive holds. Like I'll just show you right here. Let's see. See? These ones around the middle right here, it says like against high punch and the ceiling, those triple 3-part inputs, those are expert Izuna holds and they are really deadly. Take a look. As you can see, the Izuna drop is a very potent and dangerous part of Hayabusa's arsenal, making both his throw game and his defensive hold game very dangerous, very deadly. So if you like having strong throws and strong holds, then Hayabusa is a great choice. Anyways, once you're done Hayabusa's command training, and combo challenge, then you're ready to Izuna drop every fool that you encounter online.
You cannot distract me.
Not quite. It's gonna take a little bit more than that to get your PhD in Izuna therapy. Before I go on, I just want to give a big shout out to both Master and Sakurai for both giving me some pointers with regards to this guide, and also for just being awesome reps of this awesome character that is the Super Ninja Ryu Hayabusa. So basically what I want you to do is to basically rep those guys the best you can, whether it be on their like YouTube, on their Twitter, their Twitch. You guys know the drill. They're both two awesome guys themselves. But don't do that right away, or after you're done watching the guide, of course. I will let you know that Ryu's great versatile tools, such as his strong throws and strong holds, do come at a bit of a cost. His striking speed and overall neutral game can leave a little to be desired. Although Ryu's not necessarily slow per se, but he's not exactly fast either. Alright, I'm about to put on your best friend in training mode. The move details box, of course, also referred to as the skill info, just slapping that on. And let's see what Ryu is packing. Alright, he's got a 10-frame jab. I want you to remember that. Ryu is a grappler. Grapplers have fast throws. 4-frame neutral throw, 6-frame punish throw. So Ryu is the only grappler with a 10-frame jab, so that's really good. He's got a 13-frame mid, which is pretty standard for the slower type of characters, and a 14-frame 2P. So, and for mid kick, a 14-frame 3K, 15-frame 6K, so his mid kick speeds are kind of okay-ish. He also has a 15-frame 4K, which is a good high crush, and a 14-frame 7K, which is kind of the closest thing he has to kind of like a DP-like move. So his speed is okay. I mean, having a 10-frame jab though is really nice, and his 2P's neutral on hit, which is okay for what he has, so that his strike speeds remain the same when you connect a 2P. To complement Hayabusa's average close range strike speeds, he has this move to help him out. That move is while rising 4K. See, that move right there is, you see, that's a 14-frame mid kick that crushes moves really well. It's technically considered jumping too, so if you get hit, you just get knocked down. So essentially this move beats out a hell of a lot of crap in close range, and if you get hit, you just get knocked over. So honestly, if you're not sure what to do with Hayabusa, then feel free to spam that move. And the punch option isn't really that bad either. See right there, it just leaves you at -7, so you can do a little like fuzzy guard. And again, as long as you're not fighting another grappler, such as Hayabusa, then you won't be guaranteed throw punish for that, since a neutral throw is the only thing that would be able to punish it otherwise from other non-grappler characters. But yeah, this move is really good. As a little tip, I'll just tell you right now, I'm doing the 3-3 to buffer the crouch, then you just do 4K. So that's a good, you can use a 3-3 buffer to buffer while rising moves, and Ryu has other ones also, which I'll just go over a little later. So in close range with Hayabusa, other than doing like your typical jab, and you have like different jab strings, stuff like that, so jab, 6P or 2P, and of course the awesomeness that is while rising 4K. Other stuff you can use is like 3P is pretty good. It's a 15 frame mid punch. It's your lift stun you see right there, plus 33. So of course that means any launcher for free. Let's see. In close range, you are gonna like using crushes, and 8P is a very nice one. 14 frame high punch, and of course it crushes highs, crushes jabs. So yeah, as you see right there, it launches nicely on counter hit. If it were to connect on normal hit, this gives you a lift stun plus 35. So same if you were to connect like a 3P on counter hit. And another move you have to help you out, also another crush. This one is 1P. So for this move, your only follow-up is 1P 2K. Gives you plus 10 on normal hit if it connects. In general, what you're going to be doing is 1P, do 1P. Alright, as you see, you're minus 7 on hit. So if the opponent knows that it's a negative on normal hit low, they might try and 2P you or 6P you in retaliation or in response. So then that's where 1P 2K comes in handy. And of course it's delayable, because I mean this is just low. If the opponent blocks both of them, then you will be punishable. But if you condition the opponent well with this, then you can sneak in the low sometimes, and it's similar to like 2H plus K. So in general, these are good lows for Ryu, because I'll just let you know right now that he doesn't really have a lot of good lows. Alright, I'm going to be looking at any like notable crush moves, such as high crushes, low crushes, and any notable like tracking moves and guard breaks now. Your go-to high crushes will be 2P, 1P, while rising 4K, 8K, 7K is okay, and for any other ones, 3-3P, 2-3-6P. So 3-3P is a good lift stun, can launch on counter hit, and 2-3-6P is your crush launcher. So yeah, these will pretty much be your go-to high crushes, along with 8P of course. Your go-to low crushes will be stuff like 6K, has follow-up, like 6KK, which is pretty much only should be used as a launcher because it's minus 15 on block. You have a 6KP, which is it's a good kind of knockdown move. As you can see right there, it's a plus 9 guard break. So 6KP is a nice move. For other guard breaks, you have 8K or guard breaks. What am I talking about? I mean low crushes. So beating out lows. You have 8KK, 9K. Be careful; these moves are unsafe on block. You could jump over lows with like 9P. 7P, which goes into the Ongyoin stance or the Nimpo stance. There's also 66K, H plus K, K. Well, there's two enders, either a kick ender, which is a negative guard break, or a punch option that's minus 15 on block. So, but in general, you do have a lot of low crushes and course while rising K. So but your best bet is generally going to be 6KP. Alright, we're going to take a look at some tracker moves right now. Alright, your go-to tracker move will be 4P. Alright, this move right here has a follow-up in 4PP, which is a mid punch, then a high punch, and the high punch is only a -4 on block. You have a kick option too if the opponent likes to duck under it, even though the kick option is a lot more unsafe. If it does end up connecting, and it does cause a knockdown. But in general, you're just going to be primarily using just the 4P there. If the opponent is blocking everything and isn't as adept at crouching under the low, then you can usually go for the high. But generally, doing the first part is usually okay. For other tracking moves, there's H plus K, K, K. Right there, so it's just it's all high kicks, but it does end up tracking. For a tracking launcher, you have 236P. Right there's a good one. And for other ones, no, none of these other moves track. So yeah, 236P, which is also can like hit grounded. That's a pretty good move. As you can see right there, another move that's similar to it. 3P plus K. And let's see, so this move has a couple things. As you might have noticed throughout this guide, the 3P plus K ends up bounding like no matter what. And of course, well, you gotta dash in, and you get a free break below attempt on your opponent. I'll just let you know right now that this move it's an awesome whiff punisher. Like the range on it is good, so I mean, like when I go on talking about the kind of like the mid-range section, I will bring up this move, and just being able to bound as a whiff punisher is really good, because Hayabusa I think might be the only character in the game that has that capability. And 3P plus K tracking is really nice. I mean, this here, so Hayabusa has some really dangerous tracking options, and even like KK can track too. Which is an okay option, but like this move too, and also this move similar to 236P also acts as a really nice high crush option too. So I mean, like Hayabusa just has some really awesome moves in general. If you like some more tracking move, you have 1P and 1P 2K for low tracking, 2H plus K as low tracking, and your advantage low, which is kind of the same as this. For other tracking moves, you have your 6PK, which if you press the 4 option, you can go into your Nimpo stance out of there, and I mean there are numerous options out of it. I'll just go over them a little later, but right here out of your 13 frame mid punch, you got a nice fast tracking option out of that. You can also use 3PP for tracking, although you have to be a little unsafe on block because it goes mid punch, high punch, mid punch, and if it gets blocked at any part, except if you just do a 3P, it will be unsafe. But to balance it out, it is really delayable, and as you can see, it's really good when it connects on counter hit. I mean, any part of the string. So this is kind of neat though, and yeah, I'll just let you know, only the second hit of this string tracks the high punch. For Hayabusa's guard breaks, the main one you're probably going to be using the most is probably going to be 66K, which is also a pretty good approach move also. As you see right there, at least Hayabusa at +4 and goes into his Nimpo stance. And there's also a guard break out of the Nimpo stance too, 8P. It's +9, it's the same guard break as 6KP. Just take note that with both Nimpo, you can press 2P plus K to go into it, 8P. This guard break and 6KP, both of these are linear, so they can be sidestepped or even like side walked to avoid them. So you have to make sure that the opponent is blocking and that they're not, and that you're not telegraphing it. Alright, as for other guard breaks other than that one, there's also 4P plus K. You have to charge it or you'll leave yourself at -6 on block, which is still considered safe. And you see there's a different voice clip when Hayabusa does that, but if you charge it, you'll be at +15. The main thing about this move is that it takes a step back, so it's a good kind of back feint move, and then it will whiff punish if the opponent tries to attack when you like step out of the way and end up hitting with that. So, and as you see, if you can do it around tip range, you'll be -5 on block. So this one's an okay guard break, even though this main thing is just simply a kind of a retaliatory whiff punishment inducement tool. It's similar to the same as like either like Ongyoin. So the Nimpo stance PPP, same thing. If you charge it, you'll get the guard break. Whereas if you don't charge it, you don't get the guard break. The neat thing is if you do end up fully charging this, you're +15, so you get a free 6P. Hayabusa's general gameplay usually revolves around kind of fighting around like mid-range, like trying to avoid mixing it up in closer in during the neutral game. So when you're playing neutral with Ryu, you want to play neutral around kind of like mid-range or further out. And then what you'd want to do is to try and get in on your opponent. The moves you're going to be using to get in on your opponent is something like 66K. I already showed you that one earlier, that it's +4 on guard. It leads into his Nimpo stance. So after that, you have a 12 frame punch out of there. You have a low kick out of there. Overhead guard break. Overhead offensive hold. You have a thrust in kick out of there. Like there's a lot of different moves you could do out of there. There's a big gigantic unsafe headbutt, but generally for your safe option, the punch, the low kick. You also have a throw out of there. So I mean, like there's a lot of different things you can do out of that. So if you think the opponent's gonna block, you go for 66K to get in on your opponent, and if they're not blocking, then 33P also can go into the Ongyoin, and I already showed you all the different kind of like stuff you can do out of that move. But like if 33P, if it gets blocked, you see you leave yourself at a lot of negative. So that's where 66K will be your safe option, and 33P will generally be for whiff punishment, or if you're certain you're gonna kind of like intercept, or you're gonna be certain you're gonna intercept some sort of move. If you'd like another get-in move with Ryu, you can use this 66P. All right, leaves you minus. It's a 14 frame move, leaves you at -6 on block. So you can try like a little fuzzy guard after it, and if you do it around tip range, you'll be even less negative at -5. So you basically can't be punished for using that move. Hayabusa also has another move that looks similar, which is instead of 66P, he has 666P. Yes, that's double 66P, or 666P. So like that move right there, it makes a slightly different voice. It comes out at 16 frames. If it gets blocked, you are unsafe, but when it does hit, it does have a close hit property, does decent damage, although I admit that for an actual get-in move, you will generally just use 66P. The main reason you use this one is just because at 14 frames, it's reasonably fast and will intercept stuff easily. Although, if you're not too concerned about like intercepting like a moderately fast move, then like during the neutral game, I would recommend 66K a bit more. But it's just nice to have like kind of a mid-punch option that is not unsafe on block, like 33P. Oh, and before I forget, with regards to the Ongyoin stance or the Nimpo stance, all right, if you end up like for instance connecting 33P, not on block but on, all right, oh my, let me just, there we go. Yeah, if you end up connecting the low kick on well, after the first hit stuns, and the low kick ends up leaving you at +4. And if there's a punch option, you can kind of knock the opponent away. So generally, if you either just want to play a bit of a keep out with Ryu, then you can implement that. So basically, during your Ongyoin, you do have a low out of your mix-up, and it will leave you at plus frames if you just get hit. Be careful though on normal hit, or if it gets blocked, it will still be considerably negative, but the let me show you again. But you see right there, like the punch option can be good for knocking the opponent into the environment if need be. If you'd like a poking option from mid-range, and I'll say right now that poking is not really Ryu's forte, you do have his 3K, so if you land that move on normal hit, you get +5. It has a follow-up that can wall slam. It has a delayable low option out of there. Of course, if any part of it gets blocked, you'll leave yourself considerably unsafe. And I mean, the delay frames aren't really the best on this move. So, and generally, if you're gonna poke with it, just usually do the first hit until you see the opponent's reaction. Then you can see whether they go for the second hit, whether to try and sneak in the low. But yeah, if you do choose to try and poke with Ryu, either that or like 3PP will be kind of your like options for poking. But in general with Ryu, I probably more so recommend either generally just trying to get in with frame advantage will be your best bet, in my opinion. Before I move on to the next section, I will tell you one small caveat with regards to the 3-3-P. If you just do it on block in general, yeah, you will be at minus 24. But if you do go into the stance transition, you'll only be minus 4. But in this stance, you can't block. You actually do technically have a mid parry out of it. So you can't block, so you can probably be maybe a little free to lows. But the general thing is that you will... If you go into this stance, you'll technically only be minus 4. The thing is that you'll have to do an option. So whether it be like the high punch, the overhead. I mean, if the opponent may try and like low you and like stuff like that, even though I know like fast slows can blow up the stance, you can usually stuff quite a bit of options out of the stance. But if you do get the move blocked, then it is pretty much recommended to go into the stance so you're not left at minus 24. When you're fighting that long range with Hayabusa, generally what you're going to be doing is just trying to set up Ninpo stance shenanigans. Alright, when you press 7P, it creates space and automatically puts you into the Ninpo stance. So, I already showed you there's a bunch of stuff you can do at it. But another thing I think I didn't show you is that if you press forward, then you can teleport behind your opponent and go for like a PPP or different kind of like jab strings or even like 6PK after it, so stuff like that. So, but yeah. When you're setting up this stance, if the opponent runs at you or anything, then you can easily nail them with the flying headbutt or with the forward kick. So Ninpo 6P plus K, Ninpo 6K. I will let you know though, if you are going to use a flying headbutt, take note that you are going to be extremely negative. The move has like a ridiculous 10 active frames, but in general you will be pretty negative if it gets blocked. But if you use the kick option 6K, you'll be anywhere from like -8, but depending on like how far away you do it, you could be like there. You could be like -3, -4. So if you do it around tip range, then you could be pretty easily safe. Though if you're using this as a whip punisher, then it should be hitting the opponent. But yeah, these moves have a lot of active frames, and yeah, Ryu can jump off the wall too if you do 7PP. Yeah, but yeah, basically, if you're not sure which one to use, then 6K is less negative than 6P plus K. As a bit of a recap now with regards to the Ninpo stance. Alright, when you go into the stance, if you think the opponent's gonna try and like sidestep you or anything, you have 2P plus K. If you need to whip punish the opponent, you can use 6K or 6P plus K. If you want to pressure the opponent, you use the overhead. If you want to just sneak in some damage, then you have an offensive hold throw. If the opponent's kind of like standing there freezing up, you got a low option there with a follow-up. If you need a fast option, you can either go for the punch, which has a chargeable guard break. And if you know the opponent's going to try and retaliate with a mid, then just press the guard. Then you have a parry option. At range, if you want to close the distance on the opponent, you can try and sneak behind them with the teleport. But I will let you know though, if the opponent is really paying attention to what you're doing out of this stance, then basically just free cancel out of it, because if the opponent, like I said, if the opponent's really paying attention to you, then a lot of Hayabusa's Ninpo options can be kind of responded to, and a lot of them can be kind of free stepped. So I mean, yeah, there's a lot of options out of your Ninpo, but you have to be kind of like careful of it and paying attention to how the opponent is reacting. Like if they're being very mindful, then you need to be careful with what options you do, and instead try and sneak in something like 6K, 6P plus K, or 3P, like different things like that. And just for a reiteration, 3P plus K will be your go-to whiff punisher when within range, because bound into break blow potential is just too good. Hayabusa's throw game is strong. I mean, like, it's pretty much like majority of the reason why you want to play the character. I mean, like, just check this out. You're never gonna get tired of Izuna therapy. Hayabusa is classified as a grappler. So for starters, yes, he has a 10 frame jab, but that also means that he gets 4 frame neutral throw, does 47 damage, a 6 frame punish throw, does 52 damage. So yes, any move that's like -7 on block, Hayabusa can basically punish that with a forward throw for free. I also let you know that forward throws also tend to have really good range. Like, look at that. Hayabusa's goes 1.67 meters. His neutral throw goes 1.52 meters, which is okay, but like 1.67 meters is really good. And also, I'll just let you know right here, with the 6 frame throw, you can basically just do the master special. I mean, you basically can't react to that. In fact, Hayabusa actually has multiple 6 frame throws. Apart from the forward throw, which as you can see right there can also get environmental damage, he also has 4T, does the same damage and ends up just moving your victim over with you backwards. And there's also 6XT. Alright, this throw just looks badass though. I mean, you just basically run up over the opponent and just smack him on the back of the head. You see, all those are 6 frames, they all do 52 damage. Actually, there's another 6 frame throw that Hayabusa has. So yes, he has 4 6 frame throws. This one is his 4-6T. Not that one. This one right here. You see, you jump over the opponent and it leaves you at +10 plus back turn. With the way our frames operate in Dead or Alive 6, +10 plus back turn might as well be +15 because it requires 5 frames to turn around and guard. So that means that's 15 frames where the opponent is defenseless, but also with the way our frames kind of activate, you need to add 2 extra frames to be able to punish what would be -15 to the opponent. So that means that any 13 frame or faster move will be guaranteed on your opponent. For Hayabusa, your go-to will basically be his 6P. So right here, what you're commonly going to do is something like 6PK, and if you hold back, you can go into the Nimpo stance. You can also do jab to get like the stun game started, like PPP, and then it like turns the opponent around. There you're at +20. So there's a kind of a few things that you can end up doing out of that. So that throw can be handy for some like shenanigans, but you have like a bunch of 6 frame throws, and of course I showed you 6XT is the one for switching sides. So, but you're generally going to be using 6T, 6XT, or the 4-6T if you want some shenanigans. All right, Hayabusa, being a grappler, he has, instead of a 10 frame throw, he has an 8 frame throw, quarter circle back T, the 64 damage. So on high counter, that should be about. You can just check it right now. I'm pretty sure that's about 100 or maybe slightly above 100. Let me see. Yeah, 102 on high counter. So 102 on high counter for a 8 frame throw is really sweet. And now for Hayabusa's 12 frame throws. The Izuna drop. Alright, let's take a look-ski of the big bad Izuna drop in the command list. Alright, so as you can see at the top there, that 3-part throw is the Izuna drop. If you look through the list, any of those multi-part throws basically are Izuna drops. So there's numerous different variations of them, but I'm just going to focus on the raw 12-frame version that you can do with this from neutral. This is the throw where you tell your opponent, basically, do not hold against me, just don't hold, or you're going to be getting hit with a heavy dose of Izuna therapy. Alright, when I'm played on pad, how I do the first part of the throw is I do the first half circle forward with the D-pad. And then for the second part, I end up doing the second part, the half circle up back. I do that with the left thumbstick. So you start down, then you twirl upwards and stop up and press the T button within the combo throw, the blue combo throw sign. And then after that part of the throw is done, then you do a full circle in the other direction. So it's to the right side, clockwise. Then you, again, when you finish the direction, then you press the T button during the combo throw. I'll let you know that this throw is pretty. It is pretty lenient with the timing and stuff like that. As long as you just press the throw during the combo throw, it should work. All right. So it should kind of look a little like this. Alright, this is the first part of the throw. You saw the blue combo throw sign. And that's the second part of the throw. And for the third part of the Izuna drop, you simply do the full circle the full circle T to the right side or clockwise. You can even do like a couple rotations just to make sure if you want. Like it's pretty lenient with the timing. When it's done in its entirety, it should look like this. See, you could be pretty lenient with the second one. The main thing is just getting the rhythm down to the half circle forward, then the half circle up, and then getting the full circle. Even if you just get the first two parts, you still get 65 damage, which is like I think about 104 on high counter. So even if you just get the first two, that's okay. But of course, if you get the full one, then that's 80 damage, which I think is like almost 130 on high counter. I know it does a tremendous amount, and it's a very powerful throw. It's pretty much the same rhythm for majority of the Izuna drops. They all end with like a full circle throw. But yeah, there's many different ones to get down. The rhythm for the three-part Izuna is the same for like the Izuna holds, which I'll go over in a later part of this guide. You can do an alternative combo off of the half circle forward 12 frame throw if you want, as an alternative to the Izuna drop. I mean, if you want to like knock someone into the environment or just someone or blast someone away or just for swag points, you could do something like this. See right there, it does a little less damage at 74, but if there's the environment there, I mean, you could end up blasting into, and look, and you create a lot of space too, which is generally good for Ryu. So yeah, just use that combo. And of course, Izuna drop is even crazier under a ceiling. As you can see right here, the Izuna drops are very dangerous, whether in open space, and even more ridiculously good under a ceiling. Alright, for that last one I just did right here, I've showed this one a little bit throughout the guide, but this is the quarter circle P plus K, PP. Then again, you have to do a full circle to the right side or clockwise to be able to complete the Izuna throw. It does a little less than a normal Izuna drop, which does 88 under a ceiling, but this one is still pretty good. Alright, just to also augment Ryu a bit, he also has some air throws. I think I might have already showed it. See, after an 8 PP, you can just do it. That's the normal air throw. Hayabusa actually has two. If you want to just do the easy one, you just press the T button. But you can get a stronger one, which gets a nice badass kind of effect where Hayabusa's hands like light up with lightning. You have to do half circle forward throw to an airborne opponent. Like that one right there, and you get a little extra damage to it. You should always try and go for that one when you can, so just kind of like practice that. See, it's a nice go-to after an 8P launch. And I know it's only like 5 extra damage, but it just looks so much more badass. To complement Hayabusa's plethora of strong throws, he also has a few offensive holds. For instance, he has his wall rising 4T, which is a handstand offensive holds, 21 frames and does 40 damage. It's kind of okay-ish, but I think it's his only stand-in offensive hold. Alright, the offensive holds that you're probably going to be hitting maybe a little bit more often than that one would be his 8T. It's a 36 frame jumping offensive hold. The nice thing about a jumping offensive hold is that you can't punish it with a stand-in throw. You have to wait for them to fall. Then you have to do like a crouch throw. So being an offensive hold, it can beat out strikes. So if the opponent ends up, if you're at advantage or anything, or if the opponent ends up doing like a slow move or something like this, then you can beat it out. And of course, being a jumping move will jump over lows and stuff like that. It is a high, so of course you have to crouch it, even though, because being a jumping offensive hold, you pretty much have to crouch in order to avoid it. Because like I said, you can't do a stand-in throw. That's the same also with his other offensive hold. The one from his Nimpo stance, 8T. For this one too, same thing. You would have to crouch it, then low throw in order to punish it. Although you can also like if you see Hayabusa do something overhead, then just as a tip, yeah, the opponent can sidewalk to avoid it. So basically, you use this offensive hold when the opponent basically freezes up. With all the options you can do out of the Ongyoin or the Nimpo stance, you can kind of make people you can make people freeze up fairly easy. But again, like I said earlier, be careful about people actually like responding well to that stance, because part of the matchup knowledge against Hayabusa is knowing how to respond to that stance. While we're on the topic of the opponent potentially freezing up during your Nimpo stance mix-ups, look in the middle. You could do a pretty powerful 3-part throw out of the Ongyoin stance. Look right there in the middle. You see it's first you enter Nimpo stance, you press the T button, then you do half circle forward, then you do full circle all around. So it's the throw's difficulty is pretty akin to the Izuna drops, and you can also do the P plus K PP half circle full circle forward throw also in there. So basically it will the same kind of deal, though. You can do it either with the D-pad or the thumbstick, whatever you find easier. So it kind of should look like this. See right there, it's a pretty good throw. So you get 75 damage on normal throw, so that's pretty good. And also, of course, you can do the... See, out of the Nimpo stance, you get the same thing, but instead of doing quarter circle P plus K, you just simply press P plus K, then you end up going into that, so you still have that option out of the Ongyoin stance too. And one other thing that's also kind of neat, out of the Ongyoin stance, you can also get the air throws. I just want to see if I can if I could end up setting it up right now. See, there's a normal throw. I know this is a bit of a crude example. Yeah, so basically it's just kind of like the same idea. So if you do have an air opponent, you still have a chance to be able to go for the air throw, but I mean, you can't really set it up as frequently as like the other throws, and there's other... I usually just prefer going for the bound, unless the air throw is going to end up like slamming someone into the environment. Now that is an awesome throw.
Do you feel it? I have purged your evil.